Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. His mercies are everlasting, and his truth endureth unto all generations. Welcome, everyone, to another time with us with Wow Word on Wednesday with B&B, Bishop Carl E. Brinkley Jr., who is out of the pocket today, and me, John Godbolt. We are so grateful to be able to come your way and share with you every Wednesday something that we believe will inspire our community, awaken those who are looking forward to making life better in your community. So let's always, as always, we like to begin with the Word of God and share something with you. Then, of course, I got some guests who's been with us before. They're back. They're trying to take over. I won't let them totally take over. No, this is really a good group. We're going to talk more about them momentarily. But let me give you something called, do you want to go faster or do you want to go farther? Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verses 9 and 10 says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one can lift up the other fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he has not another to help him up. We were never created to do life alone. God always had several ways for us to either grow in someone's garden or someone to grow in our garden. Either way, we are communal people. God intended for the beings to be that way. Now, Satan's goal is to isolate and then destroy you. John 10 and 10. For the thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I'm come that you might have life. So, here's what you have to do. You got to find your community. Find your spiritual family. Find your brothers of accountability and grow. So, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go with others. Let's pray. Father, we thank you again for the gift of this day, for the opportunity you've given us to share, and for those who are with us and who are following us. Our prayer is that you're going to shift, change, grow them, challenge them to be and do what you called them to be and to do. And we give you praise and glory and honor for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we're getting started, ready to roll with Sista Soul Fest. I'm going to call them that today. I got two sisters in the building with us, Loretta Williams and Beverly Oaks. They've been here with us before. We had an opportunity to be with them a week or so ago. Yeah, last week, as a matter of fact, Friday, a week ago, Tuesday, a week ago from this past Tuesday. And with that Sister Soul Fest, we were able to be a part of a re-entry. Not like we wanted it to be, but man, did I learn a lot. So ladies, welcome back. And
Thank you.
I just want to be able to talk with you about a lot of things. We got some time today to go through everything that we deal with, that you're dealing with. Now, let me preface this by telling everybody who's following us, if you missed the first time they were with us, we are dealing with inmates, those who are trying to re-enter the society, if you will. We're talking about men who are working in the prison system, who are making things and making money or trying to. We're talking about some of the silent society treatment of them, as well as these two ladies who have loved ones in the prison system and how difficult it is sometimes to walk through all those changes. So you may not have anyone there, but you may know someone who does. I think all of us are connected with somebody who knows somebody that has been incarcerated. And especially if you are people of color, you know about a lot of things that happen. So we're not here to bash, but we're here to uncover. We're here to make sure that all of you who have someone in prison, or maybe you want to prevent some situations, you might want to have them sit down for a moment and think about what they're doing and see if that's going to lead them in the direction they really want to go. So with that being said, let's just back up, ladies, and talk about a little bit of the reentry. My wife and I were excited to be there. It was a little bit hot. The air conditioning was a little bit they were trying to get it down. But I enjoyed even trying to get there to the area right on that backside with the street being torn up in Hope Mills. Took me, I was really on time, but we got stuck in traffic, and the traffic was really tough in that little area. However, let's talk about it. How do you feel about the reentry program overall, and then what happened in your minds this past Tuesday, a week ago?
Right. Well, honestly, I feel good about it.
Okay.
You know, yes, there were some challenges, but it didn't set me back in my mind. It made me want to go further.
Good.
You know, because just like you said, the enemy does not want us to reveal these kind of things, and whatever he can do to throw in our way, that's what he's going to do. But I say, no, we're going to keep moving. We're going to do it again, and we're just going to see how God is going to work this one out. We've learned so many things. We did a debriefing, and it was good because we were on the same page with some of the things that we need to make adjustments to eliminate some of those curveballs that were thrown at us. But all in all, it was good. It was good. We were prepared.
Good.
You know, so.
Good. Lorette, what you got?
I agree with Miss B. It turned out, it was modified from what it normally is, but we handled it. We were so thankful for you, your wife, and everyone else that came out. We were able to engage and still, and as you mentioned too, learned a lot. We learned a lot. So it just fired us up and made us think outside the box going forward. So, yeah.
I don't know if our guests understand what reentry is. It's a simulation where you and I, just normal people who have loved ones who may be in prison, or maybe we are part of a system that will help them move forward into society. You get a chance to be that person coming out. I'm not going to give you all the goody parts with it, but you are that person coming out. You got a caseworker, and then you got to go through all these steps. You're missing some things in your life, but you got to figure out how to get the right ID. It's almost like you got to have ID to get ID, kind of, sort of, and then you're trying to walk through this system, and you don't have enough this, that, and the time. So the goal was to have about 60 people or so there to make it difficult for you to get in line. If we did it, if we had done it that day, with all the folk who signed up, if they had come, if you who had signed up had come, my
Right.
brothers and sisters, not bashing you, just saying, it would have been a real incredible time for us to figure out that frustration, that point of, I don't have enough time, I got to get to my, to see this person, I got to get over here, they're going to think I'm running away. It was so... I was so mindful of it that I took pictures of every one of the stations to look at. I didn't realize how many different stations you have to go to, from social services to career centers to even pawn shops.
Yeah.
To blood plasma centers, to ID stations, trying to get help from churches. Let me give you some more. Probation officers you got to go back to. The court, they're not finished with you. Trying to get some help from grocery stores and banks. Rent, if you can find it. Transportation. They had all kinds of counseling treatment centers, discount medical care.
Therapy, a counselor.
All that. And then you just coming out. If you've been in the system for 10, 15 years and you're coming out, reentry, I was under a little pressure thinking about just sitting there. I hadn't been pushing through anything. So help us understand when you really went through it the first time. You said you went through it in Lumberton.
Right, in Lumberton.
Okay.
And I had no idea,
Yeah.
you know, and to have to wait in line, okay, when you know that you have someplace else you need to be. You know, for instance, if you know you have an appointment at 10 and you go to the DMV and you're there at 7:30, okay, and they let you in the door and that line is winding down and you're looking at your watch, okay, because you know you have to make that other appointment, it just builds up like stress in you, you know, and by the time you get up to the counter, you're so wound tight that, you know, if you say something out of the box, they may, you know, make it difficult for you, you know, and then here we go, you know. So just going through that part, and even I had to do a part where I needed some money so that I can get a bus ticket to go see my probation officer. How do I get the money? I had a choice. Either I could go to the pawn shop and pawn what they had given me in my packet, or I could go give blood. I chose to go give blood, went to go give blood, and of course, the ticket I turned over said I had a tattoo. In real life, I have no tattoos.
Right.
And in that instance, my mind kind of flipped a little bit. I don't have no tattoos, but then I had to get back. I'm playing a game. I'm playing a game.
Right. Right. Wow. Yeah. So, Loretta, you had a similar?
Yes, actually, very similar. Mm-hmm. So for me, I had to go see my therapist, okay? And I didn't have a bus ticket because I had already used it. So I had to go to the church. So I went to the church because the church would give you help. So she gives me a bus ticket. But by the time I get in line to go see my therapist says, "You're 5 minutes late. I thought you would do better now that you're home." And so he's giving me this hard time, and he says, "You're gonna try again later. I'm not gonna see you." And I was like, "What? 5 minutes?" I said, "I'm just 5 minutes, sir. Can you please?" So I'm begging him to please see me because, mind you, he's taking my bus ticket whether he helps me or not. So it's not like I'm getting that bus ticket back. So I'm like, okay, so I lost the ticket, lost time, and still didn't get that accomplished for that week because you have to have these things accomplished within that first week of your first 15 minutes. So I was frustrated right there off the top.
One of the things that I remember most about sitting there and looking at all those stations was that I heard this over and over again, the revolving door. And another thing was mentioned to me, a caseworker. If that caseworker drops the ball, how important it is for you to get that first step out, to have the information, to be mentally ready for one place you need to be at is located 10 miles from the other place you got to be at, and you can't walk it fast enough. Nothing is systematic, is set up for you to walk in like we did in the gymnasium. If it was all in the gymnasium, you might be okay, but it's all over the place.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you brought up, Bishop, is the caseworker. So the caseworker, so every individual that enters into the prison is given a case worker. So they have this caseworker throughout their entire time.
Okay.
And there are policies and rules in place for this caseworker to follow you your entire time on a weekly basis. They have a folder that is assigned to you. There's assessments that they do for you as the individual when you first enter in to find out what you need. If you need a GED, say a person comes in and they don't have a high school diploma. So that's one of the things. Say they need treatment for drugs or they need therapy, whatever it is this person needs, they're supposed to get that in the first assessment. And they go from there. And that's where the healing and the rehabilitation is supposed to take place. So that's a big part of the problem when it comes to the reentry of individuals coming home. They haven't been prepared or for a pre-release because a lot of times the caseworkers drop the ball. And then there's times too where they're short-staffed and there's other priorities that they're pulled from. Instead of being a caseworker, they may have to be pulled to go and do some other assignment because there's not enough workers there. But there's other, we found that as volunteers, so there's a such thing as the CRC, which is the Community Resource Council, is made up of individuals like ourselves from the community. Anyone that can pass a background can sign up for this, and we are the advocates in between. We're that in-between person to help the resident, formerly known as inmates. So we don't use the word inmate anymore, but the resident. So we are in between the resident and the staff. So then that way, and it's volunteers, so they don't even have to worry about paying us.
Okay.
And so we can help with those types of things. So there's a lot of things in place that if implemented and if you have the wardens or those in authority willing to help on that part, that we can actually get done.
I'm listening to both of you talk, and we're processing something in a perfect society where we wouldn't have any residents, but in a perfect society, I'm talking about from every level. For instance, I've been a principal, assistant superintendent. I understand that you hire people who already passed the test, et cetera, but they're not good teachers. And you find out, even though they passed the test, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. We got lawyers and judges who've been sworn in, and they have been able to pass the bar, but they are not doing what they're supposed to do. We can go through pilots who are supposed to have been got their aviation license, but they're not good pilots. So no matter where you go, there is a sense of, if it was perfect or if everyone has done what they're supposed to do, we would follow through a system. But there's always holes in every system. Law enforcement, whatever we look at. So when you get to the point where people are marginalized, voiceless, and you getting what you're supposed to get because had you not committed the crime, you wouldn't be here. That mentality. Somehow or another, it seems like those people are put on a lower totem pole as far as respect and care. Now, I'm not saying that everybody in the prison system is doing negative things, but sometimes you get to a point where a case worker may have so many people to deal with that something is happening there. So let's take it on both sides of the scale. Say I got a good caseworker, but he or she is loaded with, I don't know, a whole bunch of folk. Because I was looking at numbers here. There was something like 300. I got to find it again. How many thousand
35.
people in North Carolina prisons? Do you know?
The paper here is 35,000,
35,000.
but it's actually more. It's about 54,000.
That's what I saw, because they were count. If you count jails, other correctional
Detention
locations,
centers.
detention centers. I got you. Okay, about 54,000. So how many residents? I'm going to get the right word.
Yeah, that's a good job,
It's
Bishop.
been a long time.
Very good.
Okay, residents would one caseworker have?
And that's something we still have to figure out.
Okay.
Because the thing, too, that you have to take in accountability is that the caseworker may have a high number of residents, but there's not a high number that are being released at the same time.
Okay.
So that takes us back to when we talked before about structuring the release. So if you know you have 5 guys that are going to be released next year, then let's start the process of their pre-release path or workout, work them through that a year ahead of time, and if not a year, even 2 years maybe.
Okay.
So that's something that we really have to dig into and see if we can get numbers on that and help them, because we really do want to help them, and we understand. And I say it all the time: the spirit of oneness. We are all in this together.
Yes.
What affects one affects us all. There was an article that Ms. B and I have read a couple weeks ago about how they're shutting, some of the federal prisons are shutting down. And this article, they ran it all the way down how most of your prisons are in rural areas.
Yes.
So those communities are the workers there. Those factories and those grocery stores and the hotels in those areas, they all really run off of the prison there, because those locals work there. When people come to visit, they use the gas there, they stay in the hotels there, they buy the food that's there. So it's a whole economic chain. So when that prison is shut down, all of that is affected. And that's what they broke down in that article, and we were like, oh my goodness, this is what we've been talking about. So it's really imperative that we not only bring awareness to this, but see that there are things in place that we can do and help as a community and as individuals outside.
We got about 4 minutes or so before the break, but I wanted to ask you all, do you know anything about the training of social caseworkers? How did they get to become one, so that we can say, okay, can we help in that area? Because sometimes prevention is better if we understand what you're being taught to get to that position. Can you get in there because somebody likes you? Well, anybody can get into a job because somebody likes you.
Yes.
Okay. But the training to care about these men and women, and I'm saying women because as well, job training, housing, mental health, there's so many pieces attached to it.
Absolutely.
That my head was spinning sitting up in that Tuesday looking at, oh man, and then I'm looking at the folks sitting behind the desk. If they got an attitude, if they already over the top, it's hot in the building, their air conditioner's out.
They're doing overtime.
And not getting paid, wanting a vacation, something happened in their lives with their children, their spouses.
Right.
It can be a whammy trying to walk through that situation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on when we ask inmates, preparing them. We may have to talk about that coming up, but think about this. If you could have the perfect case worker and say, okay, you've got 5 residents who are coming out in 27, let's say this is April, we're almost in August, so let's say April of 27, or maybe that's too soon. How much time do we need to make sure that they are really going to get out and do well and be prepared? What do we need to get them ready for? Okay, so you can start on if you want to start now, but I'm trying to process how important that is, and then the next level of I'm meeting this person, I'm his dad or my brother, somebody got to talk to me so I can get them. I need to know how to get them to whatever point in their lives to make sure they don't go back through the revolving door. Is that too much?
No, it's
Okay.
not at
Okay.
all.
So what do you think, Paul? We're going to take the break now? Let's go and take the break now, so I'm going to give them a chance to think about it, and don't you all go anywhere, because we got stuff to talk with you about. And as Pastor Paul would say, stick and stay. This is Wild Word on Wednesday with John and Godbolt and my brother, Carl Brinkley. We'll be right back.
Senator Lindsey Graham was remembered on Tuesday by his fellow senators as a towering figure in the Senate and on the international stage. More than $34 million in federal funding is headed to Western North Carolina to support workforce development and long-term recovery from Helene. Federal Reserve will announce today what it will do with borrowing rates. After decades of environmental cleanup in a Brunswick County town, Navassa officials say they can finally see the finish line from the Kerr-McGee Superfund site. Residents gathered Tuesday night to hear updates from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Tick bites have reached a 10-year high in the southeast amid the ongoing cyclosporosis outbreak caused by the parasite cyclospora. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services has launched a new dashboard.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The city of Fayetteville says join them on July 30th for the Senior Technology Literacy Series class as they explore Instagram and Twitter. FCYC is excited to continue supporting seniors 55 and up with hands-on digital skills. They've got even more sessions coming your way next month. Call your senior center to register. You can learn more details about the programs on the city's Facebook page. Are you a homeowner in the Phase 5 annexation area who needs help connecting to Fayetteville PWC sewer service? The City of Fayetteville has expanded its Utility Connection Assistance Program to help more eligible homeowners. Approved applicants may get assistance covering the full $5,000 utility assessment and up to $1,000 toward eligible private connection expenses completed by a licensed plumber. Income eligibility is also increased to include households earning up to 120% of the area median income. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
This morning, we're starting out with a clear sky in the wake of the storm system that passed through just yesterday. It was pretty rowdy in parts of the area. As we head into the afternoon today, we'll see high temperatures around 85 to 90 degrees with a slight dip in humidity levels. That's enough to bring our temperatures down into the 60s, heading into Thursday morning with some patchy fog a possibility. And we're mostly sunny with lower humidity Thursday, highs 85 to 90. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCA.
Hi, I'm Mitch Colvin, president of Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. For over 50 years, our family has provided professional services with dignity, compassion, and respect with families during a time of need. We realize funeral services are as unique as those we're honoring. We offer a variety of affordable, quality services tailored to meet each family's needs, specializing in burial and cremation services. Proudly servicing Cumberland, Robeson, Hope, Harnett, Bladen, and surrounding counties from 2 locations, 2010 Murchison Road, Fayetteville, 1904 Elizabethtown Road, Lumberton. For more information, visit our website, www.hmcolvin.com.
You have always put others before yourself. Put your country above all else. Given everything you can, every time. Now it's time to forge a new path. At Fayetteville State University, we believe your service is our debt. So we're offering free military family tuition. Yes, absolutely free. And with new programs like cybersecurity, anything really can happen. Fayetteville State University. Are you in?
Angelic Flourish Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville, is family owned and operated, proudly serving the Fayetteville area. Whatever the occasion, Angelic Flourish Creations can create a floral arrangement or gift for any occasion or holiday. Angelic Flourish Creations has prompt, friendly, and caring service. If you want to say you care, you can always say it with flowers from Angelic Flourish Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville. Call 910-485-2205.
When we lose someone we love, the need for comfort, care, and guidance is more important than ever. At Herring Funeral Care and Cremations, we're here to walk you through every step. Located at 2720 Murchison Road here in Fayetteville, we are committed to serving families with compassion, dignity, and respect. Our experienced and dedicated staff will help you create a service that honors your loved one's memory, a final tribute that is meaningful, personal, and within your means. Whether traditional or uniquely tailored, we'll help you celebrate a life once lived with grace and understanding. At Herring Funeral Care and Cremation, your family becomes part of ours. Visit us today or call us at 910-488-6217 to learn more about how we can serve you when it matters most.
Getting the better it does. Welcome back to Wow Word on Wednesday with B&B. I'm your host, John Godbolt. My partner will be back next week, I think. But anyway, either way, Paul got us covered. Pastor Paul got us covered. Our guest today has been and still with us, Loretta Williams and Beverly Oaks, some Sista Soul Fest. But it's so many things they do. I hate to just stop on that. But we've been talking about the reentry of residents who have been incarcerated. Our last part of our show has been about the case managers or case workers. What do you call managers or workers?
There's a unit manager and then there's the case worker.
Okay.
So
we talked about so much good stuff off the air. I couldn't get Loretta to stop talking. We need to say that for the radio so our audience will know that. But I want to be fair about this and balanced when we talk about it, because we probably have some people out there who worked in the prison system who are sincere about it and wanted to do, like we have people who work on jobs everywhere. But sometimes there's some cases where people above you make it very difficult for you to do all the right things. So
right.
let's before we get into that, I'm going to do something. You can't see this, some of you guys who are riding and driving, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can see one of the things I'm showing you. This is actually a jewelry case that is made from the inside of a potato chip.
It's potato chip bags.
Bags.
Yes, that's the hot nacho Doritos potato chip bag, and it's
Hot
a jewelry
nacho.
box.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is the jewelry box, and this is it's really it's nice, and it feels so sturdy that you can take this and make this. So you've got a handbag.
Yes, a
That's
pocket
made
bag.
from
Cheeto
thing.
bags. This
Cheeto.
is the Cheeto, Chester Cheetos in there, and then it goes down in here. But these are also potato chip bags that one of the guys with Brothers United for Hope makes, Billy K. So,
Okay. So this little string that holds it keeps it from going all the way back. What is
Right.
that? That's not a rubber band, is it?
That's not a rubber band. That is part of so the bottom, the inside is the eyeglass case.
Okay.
And so that's the strings. You know how when you pull the eyeglass case together with the
Yeah.
strings? So that's the string of those that are holding that open.
So they make
And dental floss is what's used to keep all of this connected.
dental floss.
Yes.
So they can't have anything in there that will hurt or use.
Right.
Right. So that's
Absolutely.
why all these things are made from pretty safe material.
Right.
Now, tell us about how this works, because I was thinking that they can make them in prison and make some money for themselves, but it doesn't
No,
work that way.
it doesn't.
Resident. Okay. I'm going to work on that word.
You're doing good.
Okay. So tell us how this works.
Okay, so how this works is that they're not able to make any money off of any of this, but we are able to fundraise as the CRC team. And so we fundraise for the families, and the families get the proceeds of these.
Okay.
And we have artwork as well. We have paintings. We have bracelets. So the bracelets that Miss B and I have on, these were made as well. These are made out of paper, and then the guy puts a wax or some type of wax that goes over it. But yeah, so
That's amazing. And again, they don't get the funds from this, but it goes to their
yeah,
families.
it goes to their families.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're also able to. We haven't got to that point yet, but part of the funds, when we are allowed to go to the actual institutions, we can use that for activities, even with the staff.
Okay.
So with the correctional officers and caseworkers.
But let's get back to the caseworker situation there, because that was something that still crosses my mind about making sure that they get the best opportunity to get out of there. Back to our scenario, you got 5 guys that's leaving April 27. What do they need to be aware of, or what should be happening as far as the caseworker to make sure those 5 men have a good start?
Well, what we have found is that the number one thing that has to take place is the mental health with their way that they think. So when we say reentry, a lot of times we are pushing for the reentry, the physical release of an individual, which is great.
Yeah.
But changing the location of the physical person is really, that's all that's doing. It's not changing their mind and their thoughts. So we found out with Miss Sheila Bruno, she's wife after prison, and I recommend this to anyone, everyone, just check her out. But she found 10 years ago, when she was in a situation with her husband at the time, it's called PICS, which is post-incarcerated syndrome.
Okay.
And it's a real thing.
Now that's wife after prison.
Right.
Okay. Post-incarcerated syndrome.
Yes.
Okay. Now listen to this carefully, ladies and gentlemen. This is how the mind can be controlled.
Right.
Okay.
So there's times where individuals, when they are released, their mind is still set on the prison of where they just came from. So say there's a story that I listened to, that there was a guy, he was released from prison. He was home. He would get up every day and shower, get dressed, and go back to his room. And he did this every day. Shower, get dressed, go back to his room. So eventually his brother was like, man, what's going on? Why do you just keep showering and going back to your room? And he looked at his brother and he just said, I didn't know I could leave. I didn't know I can come out of there. Because in his mind, he was still doing the routine that he had did for so many years. And we see that all the time. And I'm sure there's people out there where this radiates with you, where you can be like, oh my goodness, this is exactly how so-and-so was. Or they set the room up, like their cell, the way their cell was set up in prison. There's times where they're not shutting off the lights. I think we talked about that before. One mother had got kind of frustrated that, he won't turn the lights off. And Ms. Sheila had stated to her is that, you know what, he was locked up for 10 years where he couldn't turn the lights off. Yeah. So things like that, we just take for granted, and we really don't know. So I won't say we take for granted, but we're just uneducated about this. And so Miss Sheila Bruner, I hats off to her, and I just love her. We've been able to have talks with her as well, but her program is something that we would love to see North Carolina bring. She has workbooks that the guys can use. So back to that, because there are prisons and other states that she has worked with, and the caseworkers have called and they've set it up where they can get a bulk order of her book, which is a workbook where they can work through these things, and it's really giving them the rehabilitation and the different mindset, preparing them to come out, to be successful. Because what we found is that reentry has two elements to it. Okay. And so the reentry physically coming out, and then the reentry where your mind comes out. And you can't have a successful reentry without first having that mind change and that therapy and that counseling along with it, because that's when you run into recidivism.
So when you were talking about that, it brought back to my mind this morning, I have this routine of coming to the radio station a certain way, but I found out another way was quicker and easier. But this morning I forgot I was processing something else, and my car took me the old way. I said, the car's doing this. Yes. But really, it is the routine that I created.
Right.
And I stopped and turned around and I got it straight. But as you were saying that, we all have certain routines.
We do.
And if you're not aware of, you will constantly, the power's off in the house, but you still flip the lights on.
Right.
Because you got this routine.
Right.
So it's not unusual what they're dealing with, but it's just more intense.
Exactly.
Because of the constant someone else doing it for you, and that I get that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we talked about. Let's just say something, Beverly. We talked about the homeless. We're working on one of those situations now where this young man was given a home. He got the home, but he had been living in a tent so long that he set this tent up in his living room, and he stayed in that tent inside the house because of the processing. It felt safer for him there. So you're right about both parts, the mind and the body.
I wanted to mention that when we're talking about mental health, oftentimes it's you become I'm searching for the right word, but your mental health is important.
Sure.
And we will think about a person who has a mental health problem and say he's crazy. Okay, we attach mental health with being crazy, and that's not the case.
Not at all.
And that's the part that we're working hard on bringing awareness to, because when you have when your mental health is not well, okay, you will find yourself doing things, or like you stated in the case coming here, if you're preoccupied, you're going to go back and do the routine, that the path that's been carved.
Sure.
Okay. And what we have to understand is that they're not crazy. Right. They're not crazy, and that's the worst thing you can say is, oh, he just got out of prison, so we know he's off in his head. No, they're not.
Yeah, stereotyping.
Right.
Exactly. That was the word I was looking for.
I follow you. So let's take this silent society piece. We have a few minutes. I always enjoy talking with you ladies, and let me thank you again for your effort to do something that is not a paid job. I mean, it's just something you do to help other people, and you're so tenacious with it. You got this grit, grace, God, and gumption mentality. And I know it's not easy. And a lot of times when we just come on and talk about some things, it's kind of easy for folk to deal with. But you've seen the gut-wrenching side. You've seen the real ugly part of what we're dealing with. And then having someone you love that's there under that system, whether the mistakes they made. And I'll say this often, Some people got good lawyers. They need to be behind bars.
Right.
They just had good lawyers enough money
Right.
not to be there.
Or never got caught.
Yeah, never got caught. And their minds are still as corrupt as some other people.
yes.
Yeah.
And they still get out, and because they got the money. So, and again, the system is not designed correctly for everybody. So we understand that. We get it.
Right.
We get that. However, for what you all are doing, my hat's off to you for continuing this effort. And please don't stop. We need people like you, but we also need you to be reproduced. So make sure you bring somebody
we're
on
trying.
Yeah.
behind
We're trying,
you.
you know.
to say,
Absolutely.
keep the fight going, guys.
And it's
Yes.
hard. It's really, really hard because I mentioned before, I'm just now
Yeah.
to a place where I can talk about it because it's hard. So, in my mind, I was locked up.
Yeah. How many years has it been for you, Beverly?
17.
17.
17 years. And it's just amazing how God worked through all of that. And we talked about before how in the Bible there were,
Yeah.
people that were in prison. So if God is allowing us to read and study that, why are we so, when it comes to it happening in real life?
Yeah.
So for me, yes, I want to find out ways that I can help, not only for myself, but because I know there's other mothers out there, that don't want to talk about it or ashamed or what have you. But I just believe that God has put something in me that I'm realizing now that I can use to get through this. So the shame has dropped off.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to find out or learn all of the policies and procedures, because they're there.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is that they're there, they have it, but they're not using it. And here we come, saying, hey, how come you're not doing what's in your policy and procedure? And they'll say, well, how did you know that? Well, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are things in place for us to use. And that's what we're doing. That's all.
Right.
We have a thing in the school system called lateral entry. It means that you can come in as a teacher. You might not know a lot about it, but while you're teaching, you can go to school and catch up and get the paperwork behind this because we needed so many teachers. You mentioned something about caseworkers, case managers. I'll use that term right now. And I'm thinking that if you were a person who was working in the system as a correction officer and that job came open, you can actually
Move, yeah.
yeah.
They
to
can
that
actually
job. Oh, yeah,
a
'cause
lateral
it's
move over.
Okay.
More money.
Yeah. Yeah, it
and
is.
some more money, right?
Yeah, I believe it's more money. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it is. But it's not. The lateral moves like that if you have a mindset of a, like you said, some people are good, some people are not.
Yep.
So if your mindset is all about control as a correctional officer, when you move to being that case manager, that mindset is the same.
Sure.
So now you have more authority or more room over these individuals. So if you didn't like Lil Bob as a correctional officer, now you're in charge of Lil Bob, and Bob really can go through some of these vocational schools, or he can sign up to do different things there. But if you don't like Lil Bob, then you're not going to approve Lil Bob to go. You'll find every way to get around to say, oh, well, we already have enough people, you don't make it this time.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's those cases, and we will be fair too. There are cases where there is a good case manager.
Yeah.
And again, if the warden, this is what we found, is that if the warden of the institution, it's just like it runs down from the head down.
Sure.
It's the same thing. So if the warden at that particular facility is not willing to be about true rehabilitation and healing, then their correctional officers, the other staff is not feeling that they could either. So again, retaliation, where they may feel like they're being bullied because they're the one wanting to do right, where everyone else is following suit behind the warden. So,
I ran into that several years ago because my loved one was LWOP, leave without parole. Okay. I was told that he could not do anything but just sit there, okay? No classes, nothing. And I couldn't understand that. And she just threw it back in my face, he's not getting out, so why are we going to waste our money?
Wow.
That thing really,
Wow.
it really, got under my skin. But when you bring it to their attention that, oh, yes, they do have the opportunity. And somebody had to school this lady, because now we're looking at, a senior in the seminary program.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just brings up too, Bishop, is that there has to be, and this is what we haven't found yet, but we're still searching for it daily, is where's the checks and balances?
Yes.
Who is really holding the wardens accountable? And you may not know this, but there's 55 prisons in the state of North Carolina.
I didn't know that.
55, and it used to be 100, and there's only 100 counties in the state of North Carolina. So what does that tell you?
Wow.
Yes. So when we hear the prisons get on the news or on in the newspapers about this shortage, and nationally they're saying there's a $35,000 shortage of staff nationwide. So you got to kind of question that, because it's not always a shortage, but you have overpopulated prisons.
Right.
There's people there that should be released. There's people there that are doing the required work, because there's such thing as the case. Is it case factor? I know I'm tearing it up. My husband's gonna be like, "Oh, you messed that up."
That's okay.
But there's factors. So there's numbers. So if you hit these requirements, no infractions in 90 days, or there's where you have taken vocational schools and other classes, and you've done all these things, that your number goes down. So I believe it's 12. So if you're below 12, then you qualify to be in a minimum custody. You can promote down. You're eligible to go down to be released eventually, or work release. So there's so many things that can be done in that, but they don't take that into consideration. So it's just, we run into a lot, but we, as I was saying, is that holding them accountable. Like, who is it that, and if they're overstaffed, if they're understaffed up in Raleigh or up top, then where can that be fixed to make sure that the wardens and those in the direct authority are being held accountable, to make sure that the caseworkers can get this done, and that the residents that are willing and ready to put the work in to rehab, that they get that chance.
Loretta and Beverly, my mind just boom, it's going all over the place. Let me bring it in. I watched a story, I think it was 60 Minutes that brought it on, about a prison in, I want to say Mississippi. I can't call the name of it now. This was known as the most violent prison in the United States. I'm going to pull it up again. And the warden, that new warden that came in, what they did when a prisoner came in, they gave them, I think, a knife, if I'm not mistaken. All the prisoners, they gave them a knife. You're on your own. This new warden came in. He said, "I'm giving everybody a Bible instead." It was a shifting of culture that this warden had that caused these prisoners who couldn't read, wanted to read. They taught them how to read, and they were reading the Word of God, and they started changing the entire concept. So my question is then, if a warden over a prison is more concept of nobody's going to break out of here versus everybody's going to be rehabilitated, then his concept is to keep everybody in wraps. No programs, no, okay.
Exactly.
So are you seeing or hearing that kind of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be part 3, okay?
Okay.
And later on, we're going to talk more about on some of those other areas. But again, the time is moving on us. We got to get out of here. But the silent society, give me a moment, ladies, about in your own mindset, what does that look like? And why is this important to us to know that we have a silent society coming, needing our help in the resident as well as when they come out?
Right. So the silence that we talk about, and we talk about this with the residents as well, and they bring it to our attention. So that silence is where, again, we kind of touched on it, is where there's things that treatment that they're receiving or not receiving that they won't really talk about, or they're afraid because of the possibility of retaliation. And again, that's the same with some of the workers, the staff. I've ran into a few people that no longer work for the prisons, and every single one of them has said, I got out. I left because I just could not stand the treatment of what some of the other correctional officers, how they were treating them, and I just wasn't going to be a part of it. So it's really on both sides, and it really, again, as you had just mentioned about the warden, if the warden doesn't want something, he or she is not going to have it. They're not following the policies. You can write emails. You can call, all of that, and they will ignore. I'm waiting for a return on an email that I sent, 4 weeks now. It'll be a month today, Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the one in April? Have you received it?
In July of last year,
Okay.
July 7th of 2025. I still haven't received anything. And I've pushed back again. I sent to the governor just April 6th. I sent it to the governor. The governor did reply and said that they forwarded to the North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections. I still haven't heard anything. So
It's out of my hands.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna give up. We're still gonna keep pushing, because we know that's kind of the name of the game, is to ignore us and think we'll go away.
Yeah.
But no, that's not us.
Well, you keep it going.
Yes.
Beverly, give us a closing word. You got. We'll give you a minute.
Okay. Those that can hear me, I'm asking you to get involved. If you have somebody, or you know somebody that knows somebody, get involved, because as we stated in the beginning, it's a community effort, and we need help. At this point, we're just needing someone to just raise their hand and say, okay, I want to walk alongside of you. We're not asking for money yet. Okay. However, we just need to know that there's more than just Loretta and I out here trying to, just move through this. It's not a ball of wax. What is it when you wrap rubber bands? It's just, if you can visualize that, that's what it feels like sometime. But we still have hope, and we just believe God is going to open the doors for us.
Thank you both so much for coming. I appreciate it. And don't remember, you all buy some of these items.
Yes.
How did it get a hold of you, Loretta? Beverly, we got a number?
Yes, we do.
Call that out.
All right. Phone number is 515-779-3258. And we also have our website. You can reach us, and that is Sista, with a little sass, Sista, soulfest.com.
Okay, you can get that Sista, soulfest.com, and find them, okay? Hey, guys, we got to get out here. Remember, the only thing that evil needs to triumph is for good men and women like you to do nothing. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Bishop.